Alright, you should pull up your next PDF file right after the sight reading or the flashcard cutouts. And it should say Lesson 1, C position, say it, play it. And let me make this a little bigger so you can see it. We're going to go over a few musical terms here because we need to, when I say a musical term, you need to know what I'm talking about. So let's do that to begin with here. The first is a treble clef. Here, whenever you see that sign, treble means high, of course. When you have high frequencies on the radio or something, you're adjusting, when you adjust the treble, you're adjusting the highs. And since the high notes on the piano on the right, that's going to mean right hand. So all of the notes you see here are for right hand there. And then let's look down here. This symbol is called the bass clef. The bass clef, of course, means low notes. And any notes you have down here will be played with the left hand, since the left side of the piano is the low notes. And we just have 4 over here at the end. So those will be played with the left hand. And again, it's called the bass clef. This right here, the 4/4, is called the time signature. All right, the time signature is just a little bit complicated, so we'll wait a little bit to really get into that. But just know that it's called the time signature, 4/4. So the time signature of this piece is 4/4. On the side here, you see what's called a brace. And it's just a brace. That's what it is, what it's called. And it connects the treble and the bass staff. It's called the grand staff, the 2 staffs together. But what a staff is, if you look and you see these 5 lines, and when you draw 5 lines, that automatically makes 4 spaces. That's called the staff. Okay, so the 5 lines and the 4 spaces, which go across here, are called a staff. And you also have it here for the bass clef. This is the bass staff, and this is the treble staff up here. Together, they make the grand staff. All right. Something else you need to know is what's a bar line. This line here is another bar line. Third one right here. Okay. Having fun with my little highlighter. But a bar line separates the measures. A measure is a unit of time or a unit of counts that we're going to, when we get into counting later. Here's one measure. Here's the second measure. Here's the third measure. Here's the fourth measure. So we can number them. And then if I say go to the third measure or the fourth measure, you know what I'm talking about. And the bar lines help us see those measures clearly, okay? So measures, bar lines. This little black thing here is a rest. We'll get into that too later. But just some musical terms to start with, okay? So treble clef, bass clef, time signature, brace, treble staff, bass staff. Now let's get to actually playing some notes here. Let's look at the right hand. We start with the right hand, correct? As we have a treble clef, we're starting with the right hand note. So look at this first note here. All right, it's a C note. I'm going to put a C there. Feel free to take a little pencil and mark in some of the names of the notes sometimes if you have trouble. That's okay, because we can always erase them if you write them lightly enough. And it will just help you to memorize them if you write in a few. So that's okay to do that, I think. So the first note is a C note. It's the only note that has the little bitty ledger line going through it. All right, so that's a C. Let's memorize that. It's always a C. It's never going to be another letter. Now, where is it on the piano? Well, from the exercise that we did in the previous video, we know that C's are on the left side of 2 black notes, okay? And this C that we're talking about is in the middle of the piano. Now, if you're on a keyboard and it's not a full-size keyboard, that C may not be in the middle, maybe to the left some, so be aware of that. But that's what middle C sounds like. Here's a higher C, here's a lower C, so you can judge. Get on the middle one. And we're going to put our thumb on that C. Thumb is also called the 1 finger. We number our fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thumb is 1, pointer's 2, middle's 3, ring finger's 4, pinky finger is 5. Same thing on the left hand. So put your one finger on the C note. Then we're going to take our other fingers and put them on the white keys next to the C. So our pointer finger goes on D, our middle finger goes on E, F will be where the ring finger goes, the fourth finger, and the fifth finger pinky is going to go on G. So C, D, E, F, G. That's called C position. And that's where we're going to start out. Okay? Now you're going to get used to C being on your thumb, D's on my pointer finger, but you need to know what they look like on the paper, on the page. And say the names out loud. Because if you don't say it, you can get away with it without thinking about it and not really know what they're called. But if you have to say it out loud, then you know that you're thinking about it. So say it out loud, the names of the notes. So, the first note here is a C. So play it and say it. C. The next one is a D note. It's a D. It does not have a little line going through it. It is below the staff, just touching the bottom line of the treble staff. So that's a D note. So I'm going to put C here. I'm going to put D. You can write these in lightly with a pencil if you want. If you don't need to, don't do that. C, D. The next note we're going to learn and memorize is an E. Let me put an E here. E, of course, is on our third finger. C, D, E. Now, if you're smart, you'll be able to see that these are going up. All right, they're going in an upward direction, and the tone's going up. Now, it's easy to fake it and just to go up. You don't really know what they're called, right? That's where we fall into the trap of not really memorizing what the notes are. You need to know that that's an E, so say it out loud. And notice that the bottom line of the treble staff cuts right through the E, so that's how you know what an E is, and it's always right here on the piano. The next one is an F. An F is inside the bottom space of the treble staff. That's what an F looks like. So C, D, E, F. One more. You guessed it, G. G is always on the second line. There's the bottom. What note was on the bottom line? Well, the bottom line went through it. E. Well, in a G, the second line is going through it. That's what makes it a G. Okay? Now, as we go back down and we see this one, yes, we can see that it goes down. Right? We can see that the note goes down, and we can just go down to the next one and not know what it's called. But let's know what it's called by saying it out loud. F. Because F is what? Inside the space, the first space. Now we're going to go down some more. We can see that it goes down again. That's fine and good, but know what it's called. What is it? It's an E because the bottom line of the treble staff cuts right through it. Okay? So what I'm saying is, in short, is yeah, you can sit down and just figure out, you know, this goes up and this goes down. Yeah, I played it and not get anything out of it what I want you to get out of it. I need you to know what the names of the notes are called when you're playing them. The last one on this measure is a D. Okay? Remember what a D looks like. Alright? Now we can finish it out. C, play a C. What are we having in a D? Say it out loud. Look at it. Takes real concentration to write with this mouse here. But do the best I can. Finish them out. E, D, and then C's the last one. This C right here is white. That has to do with counts, and we'll look at that. But for right now, just know that it's a C. It doesn't matter that it's white. It matters that the line is going through it, whether it's white or it's a goose egg, whatever it looks like. That's what a C is, when the little legend line is going through it. Okay, so now let's play it. Here we go. We're in C position. C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C, D, E, F, E, D, C. Now, you may play it faster, it may take you longer, that's okay. Don't go too fast though, take your time. Alright, don't force yourself into a mistake. So those are the right hand notes. Now what you can do with your flashcards that you've already cut out, find the C, D, E, F, G, find those 5 notes, separate them from the other ones, put them in a baggie, and those are the ones you know. Those are the ones we're memorizing. Those are the ones you're going to use with your flashcards here at the end of this lesson when you set them out on the piano or keyboard and then practice the random note sight reading. Alright, so those 5. Now, let's move on. Now we have some notes down here that are left hand. Okay, and I'll mention something real quick about rhythm. Rhythm is important. Rhythm is the speed or the counts that each note gets. You have quarter notes and half notes and whole notes that we'll get into. But I'm not going to emphasize that a whole lot yet. We'll do it, but right now we need to get the names of the notes down and where they are on the piano, okay? I don't like to do too many things at once because then we don't do anything well. I want to focus on what we're trying to do well, and that's know what the note names are. Alright? So, let's look at the bass staff here. Now, these are different, unfortunately. Okay? Not going to be the same. Different letters. Or, well, they're not going to be different letters, but you'll see what I mean. Alright. We have our first note here, which is a G note on the left hand, but let's get our left hand in place. Alright, we know our right hand's in C position here. The left hand's going to be in the C position, but on a different C, on this C. Now, instead of your thumb going on the C, your pinky is going to go on this C, on the side of 2 black keys. Alright, here's middle C, so here's the C we're looking at, right here. To the left. Pinky's on there, 5, and then D will be my ring finger. E will be my middle finger, third finger. Second finger, my pointer, will be on F, and my thumb will be on G. Okay, you might just want to play your fingers a little bit to get used to it. Alright, so there we have it, C, D, F, G. Now, the first note is G. I'm telling you what it is. When we're looking at the bass staff, and we're in the top space, remember there's 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 4 spaces. When you have a note in the top space, it's a G. So we're going to play our thumb note. Okay? So there's our G. Now, we're going to go down, and you can see it going down the page. Down on the keyboard is always to the left. Up in pitch is always to the right. So down in pitch to the left, up in pitch to the right. Good to know, but don't only use that. We need to know what the names of the notes are called without a reference point. The next one is an F. F is on the 1, 2, 3, 4th line up. Now, some people say 4th line up. I like to say the next to the top line, because that gives me a real quick reference point. Here's the top line, so the next to the top one must be this one, the 4th line. So, however you want to think about it. F is on that line, so that's going to be this finger. F. Pointer finger. Alright, next note is an E note. E on the left hand is going to be in the 1, 2, 3 space. Okay, I say that with my kids. What note is in the 1, 2, 3 space? My 5-year-old, 6-year-old likes to count them. So 1, 2, 3. It's an E note. Alright, that's on my middle finger when I'm in C position. Okay, G, F, E. 1 to go on this particular staff. And that's going to be a D note. That's going to be my 4th finger. So there's D. G, F, E, D. Takes me to there. Alright, so play it and say it, right? Are you saying it out loud? G, F,